Blanco Lirio World Headquarters.
That's right. Global headquarters. We put the clean side out on the Venetian blinds. With us now as special guest and regular contributor now to the Blanco Lirio channel, Dan Gryder, a retired Delta Airlines pilot and a data guy that with a important safety message to make. We're going to go over some data from the last 5 months in general aviation and talk about a special YouTube Awards presentation that Dan's putting together that I'm finding all about. So Dan, what do we got for the first 5 months here in GA?
How you doing, Juan? Thanks for the call. Always good to Skype with you. But yeah, the first 5 months of the year have closed out. We did better. Should have been flat line wise, graphics wise. We should have had about 94 accidents in the first 5 months. We only had 56. That's down, of course, because of the virus and things like that. But I think we are making a dent in changing some things. Of the 56 fatal accidents that we had, and I've got them totaled up. I track these day by day, actually, as they occur, and I study them and look at them. So I've already dropped them into the bucket that I think that they should go in, and there's only about 12 buckets that they commonly go into, with the 13th bucket being unknown. So out of the 56 accidents that we've had so far in the first 5 months of 2020, 13 of them have been caused by pilots flying too slow in the traffic pattern, simply stalled, spun, and couldn't recover in time. Now, Juan, you're a Luscombe guy. I'd like to invite you down here. We're going to YouTube you stalling and spinning your Luscombe at 700 feet. How's that going to work out?
No, won't do it. There's not enough room. Can't do it. No, you got to practice. You got to practice. If you're going to practice that stuff, you need to practice it at 3,000 feet above the ground just to be safe, because it's going to take you some room.
It's going to take you some room. So even if you got really good at practicing it, if you actually did it in the traffic pattern, I don't care how good you are, it's not going to work. You can't get out of a spin. Once that thing develops into a spin, it's going to take you $1,000 to kick out of that. So isn't that crazy? 13 out of our 56 so far in this year, 2020,
just day VFR with no other mitigating circumstances that you can tell.
No other mitigating circumstances that we can tell. Simply base to final, crosswind to downwind, flew the plane too slow, and 13 of these 56 were that category.
So you've got a technique that you've been trying to get the information out on. What do you call it? The DMS?
Well, DMS. And Juan, you're an airline guy. And you got to agree, airline guys are basically stupid. We all are. They dumb things down for us, don't they?
Yes, they do, because we need a consistent level of safety throughout the whole industry, and you got to bring everybody to the same level of safety and standard operating procedure.
Yeah. So, I mean, look at all the airplanes that you've flown. We have a checklist because we're too dumb to remember what to do next. We write it down. Is a checklist a crutch? Yeah, probably is. Is putting a green arc and a yellow arc and a red arc on our gauges, is that a crutch? Yeah, it is, but it really helps us remember this gauge is operating close to the yellow now, so we ought to keep an eye on it. What is yellow? I don't know.
But yeah, what's the actual number? We can't remember the actual numbers. We're switching airplanes all the time, but if you got a crutch like a colored band to look at, you could tell right away.
Yeah, exactly. And a few years ago when I was at Delta, this technique came out for altitude busts. We were having a tremendous amount of altitude busts, and somebody said, let's point at our altitude. Both guys point at the altitude window on the mode control panel when you change altitudes. And that technique met with a tremendous amount of hate. They got hate mail and pushback and everything. Nobody wanted to use their index finger. Who cares when you change altitude? If that's now company policy that both guys will use their index finger and point at the altitude. But guess what it did? It was a crutch, and it fixed it. As soon as that was company policy, both guys had to say it and point to the window. It just about fixed it.
And that became policy throughout the entire airline industry. I didn't know it started there at Delta Airlines.
Well, I don't know where it started. I was there when it came through Delta, and everybody
uh-huh.
was screaming about it. And they had a couple close calls with misset altitudes, and somebody sets an altitude, and the other guy didn't see it. So here's another crutch that I really like. Our problem is that we're flying too slow in the traffic pattern. Let's just simply bug our. Now this video may be backwards on your screen there.
No, looks good.
Let's put a line. Look at all the other color that's already on your airspeed indicator. Let's put a line on our airspeed indicators that signifies about 40% above clean stall speed. You might call this clean maneuvering speed from the big airplanes that you flew. Mm-hmm. Just as a reminder, so when you're flying, don't go slower than that until you get on final. Out of the 13 accidents that we had so far this year, we had 0 accidents from a pilot flying too fast, landing long, and going off the end. So flying too fast is not our problem. Flying too slow, stall, spin below 1,000 feet, prevention is all we got. We've got to prevent these. And this, I'll agree, it's a crutch, Juan. It's a crutch. Mm-hmm. So be it. Why don't we spend 30 seconds and stick one on there and remind ourselves what's the slowest we can go?
And again, you're just using a thin little piece of tape and taping it on right on top of your airspeed indicator, indicated airspeed.
Yeah, you can use anything you want. Get your fine line razor and cut out a piece of neon yellow, neon green, whatever line that you want. It's about a 32nd of an inch thick. Stick it on there. Do your calculation. About 40% above clean speed on your airplane. Everything's already placarded. Bottom of the green is your max gross weight clean speed, clean stall speed. So just stick 40% above that, which accounts for some maneuvering and pulling G's. Give yourself a 40% buffer and try to honor that where you can. If you start getting close to that, think about a little bit more nose down or a little bit more power until you get on final and get some flaps out and get your wing unloaded, right?
Yep. And again, I want to emphasize that you can stall an aircraft at any attitude or any indicated airspeed, but only one critical angle of attack. But these general aviation aircraft operations, what Dan's doing with this line is giving you a rough estimate that's going to work 99% of the time, unless you get in some kind of extreme attitude that you wouldn't normally do in a general aviation type aircraft.
Exactly. There's exceptions, and I'm an AOA guy. The problem is that we can't afford AOAs and install them. You got paperwork and certification.
Yep.
Let's just recognize that our problem is flying too slow in the traffic pattern below 1,000. Let's give ourselves a crutch and just remind ourselves, why all the hate over just modifying your own airspeed indicator? It's FAA approved. Actually, it's FFA approved, Future Farmers of America.
A farmer's fix.
I called them, and they said, yeah, you can do that if you want to.
Great. Now, this is not to be confused with all the big discussion we're having on Pakistan Flight 8303. That's a whole different kettle of fish. That's a problem of unstable approach coming in too high. That's an airline-specific situation. We're talking general aviation, the preponderance of accidents in general aviation. Yes, we do sometimes have problems with folks coming in too high and hot and going off the end of the runway, but the majority of the fatalities are exactly what Dan's talking about.
Yeah, general aviation, boy, we could sure use some help here. And this is quick, fast, cheap, and easy, just the way Juan Brown likes his Mexican food. I mean, you can't get any simpler than this, and it's a good reminder. The other 12 accidents in general aviation so far were loss of thrust on takeoff. Again, day VFR, lose the engine at 400 feet. They're not ready for it, and they die. All they got to do is lower the nose, save their life, and pick out a spot to land. Maybe return, maybe not. But if you never lower the nose and break that impending stall, you're going to die. You are just going to die, and people are flying around totally not ready for that scenario. 25 accidents in the first 5 months were in these two categories. 25 of them. It's
and these
so
are
simple.
These are fatal. 25 fatal.
25 fatal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've lost 25 airplanes and 25 families over this.
So again, your airspeed plaque information is the same. You're using that same information in the event of an engine failure on takeoff to maintain that minimum speed to remind you to get that nose down.
Yes. this speed right here becomes your best glide speed. It's also your best climb speed, and it's also your minimum maneuvering speed. It's all three rolled into one. It works perfect for a great climb speed. Airplane specific, you want to check your own numbers, but if you do your calculation, it'll come out to very close to VY. It'll come out to very close to book value of best glide, and it is for sure a number that will keep you safe for normal maneuvering in the traffic pattern. Going to give you plenty of fudge above that clean stall speed value where you lose control of the airplane.
Now, I follow you on Facebook, and occasionally there's some saves out there as well, huh?
Yeah, we have been coming across some saves and some really good things. Every now and then people write into me and say, hey, here's what happened today, and I watched all your stuff. We actually practiced it, and we were ready, and we saved an airplane today because we were ready. We had an engine failure, and we were ready, and we walked away. We had a rejected takeoff, and we were ready, and we recognized it. The airplane wasn't going to fly. We chopped the throttle. Rejected takeoff is another big one. It's not in FAA training material. They don't even talk about it.
Yep. Yeah. We'll give you some links to some more in-depth discussion on this as well. Okay, so Dan, tell us about these. What's this YouTube awards thing you're talking about here?
Well, you YouTubers out there have been doing a fabulous job, and you, Juan, yourself have zoomed to the top. There's 52 YouTubers in America, North American YouTubers. I got them all. I got an index card for each YouTuber that's got his email and cell phone number. I know most of them, so our idea is to give you guys some recognition. And currently, Juan, you are 7th in size. You're in the top 7, but you're 7 of 7 in subscription size, but you're 3rd place in total number of views. Your channel has picked up 50 million views, and that's 3rd place. That's a lot of views.
Wow. So who's tracking all this data?
I am.
Wow. Huh. So you're taking the time to, mine that data, and you're comparing aviation YouTubers here in the United States?
Yes. Just the non-commercialized. In other words, we're not taking any commercial media outlets or things like that. Individuals like yourself, and your channel is unique because you're an airline guy, a military guy, a GA guy. You've got such a completely unusual background where you're able to intelligently talk about those subjects, and it resonates with people. It shows all your numbers have been zooming. People appreciate exactly what you're doing. You're probably the most unique renaissance man out there in aviation YouTube right now, for sure. 15 different categories of awards that we're going to give at this thing, which is going to be in Stearman Field, Wichita, Kansas, July 17, 18, 19. Out of the 52 aviation YouTubers, I got confirmations from 22 of them so far. I think we'll probably end up with about 30 aviation YouTube channels represented. Most of the big ones are already going to be there. Of the top 7, I think all 7 are going to make it, including Trent Palmer. And the Flying Cowboys are probably coming out, so it's going to be really cool. And we are giving awards currently of the 15. I'll not give you all the data, but for you personally, most viewed video of all the videos from all the channels, you take 2nd place in the most viewed video. Do you know what video that was?
I don't, not unless it was a P-51 or something.
No, it was your Kobe Bryant video launched on January 26th, and it's just about to crack 2 million views for one video. Had a lot of really good information in that video. You're in 2nd place for most viewed in these 52 channels of all the videos from all the channels. That's a big accomplishment.
Wow. And I better get serious about this because I've got no video background. I don't have very good equipment or anything like that. So
I know, but you know what
there's a lot to learn.
You got the voice that people are wanting to hear, and they're listening to you. And they recognize when you're talking, you know what you're talking about. It's obvious, and that's what's working for you. You don't have to have a studio. Obviously, you're proving that right now. You also got 2nd place in best liked video of all from all the YouTubers. You're 2nd place. Best liked is equal to least hated. That's using the thumbs up, thumbs down thing. And that video was your B25 video launched on July 24, 2019.
Yeah. Wow.
That's actually the second most liked or least hated video of all the YouTubers, all the videos from all the YouTubers. Isn't that cool?
Wow. Interesting data. Wow.
You are in first place of all the videos from all the YouTubers. You're in first place on most comment involvement. And that video was March 17 of this year. That was your, I forget which video that was, but
March 7th. Okay.
17.
That's something we can talk about when we get together in Wichita. That's something I spend a lot of time on, is the comment section.
Yeah, well, you're currently in first place for most comments per view. The people that watched your video and took the time to comment, you're in first place on comment involvement. Almost 2% of the viewers left a comment, which is crazy high. Crazy high. You're also in first place for number of videos produced that cracked 200,000 views. You're in first place for that, which is really good. I mean, that's
the sheer quantity of videos.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the number of videos that broke 200,000 views, and as you know, breaking 200,000 is a tough thing to do. So if you're a YouTuber out there and I didn't contact you, I'm awful sorry. I think I got just about everybody, but I could have definitely missed somebody. If you want to send an email to Aviation Content Creators, I'll give you the info pack. Everyone's invited equally. We're not discriminating. Everybody's invited. It's a 3-day deal, and it's going to be totally cool.
And this coincides with a regular fly-in there at this is the little Boeing field, the airstrip just outside of Wichita, Kansas.
It's northeast of Wichita. It's called Stearman Field.
Stearman Field, right?
Yeah, and it's owned by Dwayne Clemens. Dwayne's brother Jerry is our sponsor, who has financially made this entire thing happen. He's gonna kill me, but Jerry has an aviation insurance business, and he is crazy good at aviation insurance. He told me never to give out his cell number.
Oh no. Oh no. Good. In fact, I got a new on the Luscombe there. I might have to give him a call.
Yeah, well, there's a cell number. He told me to never give out his cell number. So
great. No, he's gonna be.
He is gonna hate me. But no, he does aviation insurance. His brother owns the airport. It's a 5,000-foot field, paved runway with 2 grass stole strips, and a bar, a restaurant, and an amphitheater all built into the whole thing. The bar and restaurant is right alongside the runway. I mean, you can throw a rock from the restaurant to the runway. It's right there.
And all these different YouTubers are going to be there and doing some videoing of different aircraft that are going to be there and maybe going flying. And
yeah, we're absolutely going flying. We got a whole bunch of people who have volunteered to bring their airplanes and give you YouTubers rides. So we got some unique stuff. For instance, the Lockheed Electra that was used in the movie Amelia, that's coming in specifically for this to give rides to you YouTubers. If you want to go fly that airplane, you can actually fly it and shoot a video in that airplane.
Wow. That's a unique opportunity.
It's crazy. We got so far we got about 25 airplanes that have volunteered to bring their airplanes. Now all you get's a lap around the patch. You know, you're not going to get 2 hours of doing the thing, but you are going to get to make a takeoff and landing and shoot some video in each one of these airplanes that you want to.
And again, this is open to the general public to come and watch and meet and greet and all that.
Yeah, it's a huge event every year. It's normally called Stearman Days, and it's normally in June, but they moved it back due to the fact that AirVenture canceled and the virus and all that kind of stuff. So this kind of fills the void in that same weekend that AirVenture would have started, July 17, 18, and 19, gives people a place to go. But it's a large event. They'll have tons, and every year that place is packed out for the weekend. It's crazy.
Great. We'll look forward to seeing that. And real quick before we go here, these awards started in Oshkosh. You've had them going on for a couple of years for YouTubers?
No. Oshkosh started the idea of getting the social media influencers together, and it was originally their idea to eventually get into this concept of recognition. This is recognizing content creators for your work, your storytelling ability, your ingenuity, and your work on this thing. I've just taken it to the next level. since we're off this year for AirVenture, we'll do this one kind of small, informal, and cheesy amongst ourselves, and we're going to hand the thing off to AirVenture next year. This will be, I hope, an ongoing thing that's continued at AirVenture every year using the same basic formulas and basic stuff. Who knows? They can modify it however they want it to be next year. And maybe if there's some pushback over a certain category, they can add or subtract categories as they go forward. But this is the first one, and I'm really proud of the numbers that we've crunched, and the formula, this qualimetric number that we've ended up getting that specifies on a numerical basis the quality of each video, which was a chore. Rating each video from each YouTuber is crazy.
But you're using it with data. It's all data driven.
It's all data.
Got it.
So each YouTuber gets the opportunity to create videos from the period of July 1 all the way through the end of July. So each year period is it concludes at the end of June every year. Whatever videos you produced, those are your numbers, and then you get your awards. 3 weeks after that, after that 1 year period quits, and we reset everything to zero, start all over. You get a fresh set of videos to go for the next year. Everything's wiped out, level playing field. Everybody gets to participate, and
Great.
there's no residual from the year before. Whatever videos you do during that time period, the number and the quality. That's why it's important to produce good quality videos that don't bring down your average. So throwing out a lot of videos on a channel is bringing your averages down. So that all goes into the metric.
And they got to be specifically aviation content.
Yeah, this is aviation themed.
Right.
Could be airlines. Air Boyd is like the largest. He's coming. He's a Delta guy as well. He does mostly commercial aviation, but aviation for sure. I would say of my 52 index cards, I would say probably 80% of them are general aviation. Cirrus and 310 and Baron and those guys, and Citations, the TBM guy, and all that kind of stuff. All those guys are
great.
Coming, so
excellent.
Should be a great time.
Well, that sounds like a gas. That's Dan Gryder. We're going to see everybody there at Stearman Field, just outside of Wichita, Kansas, July 17, 18, 19. Do I got that correct?
That's it. It's 1 Kilo 1 is the identifier for it. If you want any further information, you contact our team directly, but we've got all the logistics taken care of for this thing. I couldn't do any better than free. It's free parking. There's no registration fee.
Like that.
There's no anything required to get out of the grounds. It's a fabulous display. You will have to pay for your own hamburger on the field there if you want to eat at the restaurant, something like that. But it's not like you got to buy a day pass to get into the
free admission
grounds or anything like that. Free admission.
All right. Excellent. Thanks for the report, Dan.
All right, Juan. Talk to you later, man.
We'll see you in Wichita.
See ya.